Hey, thanks for hitting that play button. Why don't you join me on my next live broadcast by downloading the Periscope app on your phone and following me at Colin Hiles. The quickest way to succeed. See, I thought you'd be interested in the quickest way to succeed. And what I'm about to share with you, I know you know as well. There is no such thing as the quickest way to succeed. All right? And anyone that tries to tell us there is basically bullshitting. Why? Because there isn't a quick way to succeed. Anyone that's achieved anything that's big, anyone that's achieved anything that we look at and we admire, and any time you've achieved anything in your life that is of value, that is of meaning, that was a goal that you set for yourself, it took two things. Two things, okay? My first mentor, Jim Rohn, said to me, success leaves clues. And if anyone is successful, or if you are successful, there are clues as to why you're successful. So let me give you the two major things that it takes to be successful. Number one, consistency. Number two, paying the price. Or a word that some people don't like is sacrifice. They're the two things, right? Consistency and paying the price. Now let's use me as an example here. I've been scoping now, and I've done what, 33 scopes, right? I've got about 200 odd followers, 220, I think, something like that, okay? Now my goal is to get to 1,000 followers. What's it going to take? Am I going to get overnight success? Am I likely to wake up after one scope and find, whoa, I've got 1,000 followers already? Yes. No is the answer, and you know that, don't you? No. What is it going to take? Consistency, right? Showing up regularly, doing scopes regularly, letting you know that I'm serious, that I'm not a one-hit wonder. I am here to give value as often as I possibly can, dependent on my diary, right? 229 now. Whoa, thank you very much. I'm up to 229. Come on, let's get it up to 230 at least, right? So I've got to demonstrate to you that I'm going to be here, right? You don't want to follow someone that's there and then not there and not there and not there. No, you want consistency. That's what you want. I've got to be consistent. Two, I've got to pay the price, right? I've got to pay the price. So what the price will be different depending on the goal, but let's look at the price. The paying the price of scoping. Well, there's a lot of things that I've got to learn about how to scope, how you market your scopes, the best way to get followers on your scopes. I've got to give this some time. I've got to come up with content, all right? There's always a price to pay for success. And if I'm willing to pay the price, then started with 12 livers, and today I see 30, my next one up to 60. Very good, yes. Yes, well, good for you, right? So now, they're the two things, right? Consistency and so let's talk about each one. I made some notes here. Let's talk about each one in a little bit more detail. If you agree with that way, just hit some hearts, right? If already you go, yeah, I know, we love to think there's a quick way, a silver bullet, an easy way. And marketers love to use it. They love to use that language because, oh boy, it'd be fantastic if there was just a silver bullet, and I could just achieve. But it's not the case, right? You know that. I know you know that. I'm not going to insult your intelligence, but sometimes we are fooled or tricked, or we would love to think that is the case. Right, now let's talk about consistency. How many times do you find yourself stopping short of the finishing line? I know I have. I definitely know that I have, right? And consistency can be the difference between success and failure. Just that one thing. That just being consistent. And since I've understood the importance of consistent, I've been consistently consistent. I've understood it. I've understood that there's no shortcut around it, right? There isn't. We just have to be consistent. And success is never a single act, right? Well, I've never come across it yet. I don't know if you have, right? Anyone that succeeds, a band that achieved success, it was never from one single act. A politician that's achieved what they wanted, never from one single act, right? A millionaire, a billionaire, never from one single act. We like to think so, but we know it's not the case. It comes down to daily habit. That's right. Thank you. You just beat me to it there. Is that Steve Gott? You just beat me to it. It comes down to daily habit. Whether you write a book, you want to get fit, you want to get healthy, it doesn't matter. It comes down to daily habit, all right? Anyone can do something 1 or 2 times. In fact, when you set a goal, often there's a lot of energy around it, right? You're excited about it. So it's easy to do the first day, the second day, maybe the third day. But by the time we get to the 4th day, the 5th day, I can't be bothered. And then it's easy to quit, right? And that's really the truth. As you know, I got down to 12% body fat. When I first started, I was quite excited about it. But it isn't long before it becomes hard to motivate myself to get out of bed at 5:30 in the morning and do some exercise, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes. 5 or 6 days in and don't fancy it. I'm aching. I don't really want to do it. But consistency is about doing what's the right thing to do no matter how you feel. That's what. And let me just give you just a little technique on this that I found useful and some of my clients have found useful. In order to achieve a goal, there's things we have to do. There's actions we have to take. So one of the things that worked well for me, and it's worked well for some of my clients, is you just have a calendar. Welcome, Mal. You have a calendar, all right? And as soon as you do the thing, whatever that thing is, you just put an X on the calendar. So it all becomes about getting the X's, fill in the X's. Now, here's what I know. You fill in Monday, you fill in Tuesday. Already now, you don't want to miss Wednesday. Oh, that'd be terrible. So you do Wednesday. If you've done Wednesday, you've got to do Thursday. So you do Thursday, got Friday. Yes, 5 days done. And that's all I exercise 5 days a week. I don't exercise over the weekend unless I'm out paddleboarding or surfing or something like that. So for some people, that works really, really well in terms of keeping consistent. They want to see the X. They want to see the X, right, in the calendar. So there's one simple little technique in order to be consistent. But consistency is key. Consistency and focus are very similar, by the way. Consistently focusing on doing the things that are going to get you to where you want to be, the goals, the aims, the desires that you want to achieve, right? Make sense? Give me some hearts if that makes sense. Give me a little love heart shower if that makes sense to you. And then we're going to jump into paying the price and talk a little bit about paying the price or sacrifice. And some people don't like that word, sacrifice. Doesn't feel very nice sacrificing, does it? Well, unfortunately, it's part and parcel of being successful, and I know you know this. Right. Many people seek success. Many people seek success, but very few people are willing to pay the price for that success. And that's why some never achieve it, all right? For me, paying the price is about investing in the long-term success, which might mean you've got to take a short-term sacrifice. And that's really what it means. Graham, thank you very much for sharing. I really appreciate that, sir. But we all want the quick fix. We all want the easy way. We all want the shortcut. I mean, that's what we all want, right? But anything of value, anything that's really meaningful is never easy, right? It's not easy. And there is always a price to pay. Success has a price to pay. Giving birth and having children, there's a price to pay. Being an entrepreneur, there's a price to pay. Being within an organization and having a job, there's a price to pay. Being rich and glamorous, there's a price to pay. Being famous, there's a price to pay. And Marlon Brando, I wrote down here, remarked that fame is a curse, right? That was his thing. Living from paycheck to paycheck, there's a price to pay. So whatever lifestyle goals we want, there is always a price to pay. Doesn't matter what it is. In fact, doing nothing, there's a price to pay. And some people don't think about that. It's not something they really consider. But you do nothing, there's a price to pay there, right? So there's always a price to pay for being successful. And it might, the price might be putting in the many, many hours. The price might be unlearning negative beliefs. The price might be becoming emotionally mature, being able to deal with jealousy, being able to deal with fear of failure, some of the more negative emotions, anger, resentment. That might be what it takes. It might be that you've got to give up blaming and finger pointing and complaining and bitching and whining and being the drama queen or king, right? These are some of the things that you might have to give up, pay the price of in order to be successful. And the list goes on and on and on, right? And that's just some of the basics. But here's the thing. The price of failure always is more painful than the price of success. As my mentor said, Jim Rohn, right? Success weighs tons. Discipline weighs tons. No, hang on, let me get this right. I want to get it right, Harry. How did he say it? I think it was failure weighs tons, success weighs ounces. Something like that. I think it was something like that, right? And so it's always more painful to experience failure. And sometimes we get stuck in that mindset because we're not willing to pay the price. We're not willing to, Motivational Monday, love it. We're not willing to pay the price. We're not willing to push through the pain. We're not willing to deal with the discipline. We're not willing to do those things. But those things are absolutely essential in order to be successful.
Hey, before you go, did you know you can hire me as your personal mindset coach to help you generate greater self-confidence, get rid of negative thoughts and emotions, set and achieve goals with everlasting self-motivation, and best of all, it's not going to cost you a penny. Just go to www.advancedmindpowertraining.com or click on the link below this video to get started.